Okay, hello everybody. Becky DeGrossa here with Counseling Wise. If you're logging in here and you're looking for a webinar on how to create a therapy website that actually gets you clients, oh, I have my cat here chiming in. Anyway, you're in the right place. So go ahead and come in and introduce yourself. Go ahead and type in the chat and just let us know your name and where you're from. And this is going to be really fun today. We're going to go through this, a lot of information on this webinar today. So go ahead and do your introductions as soon as you get here, and then we'll get to see who's out there, okay? All right, folks are coming in. I want to check to make sure that you guys can see me and also hear me. So if you can, please type in the chat yes, or I hear you, or something. That'll be great. All right. Hello, Denise from Iowa, Jamie from Austin, Joellen from Minnesota, Shannon from New Jersey, Betty and Reed. All right. Hey, Betty and Reed. Icons, legends in Boulder in the psychotherapy community. Chris, how you doing, Chris? Jane in Florida, Michelle in San Jose, Marilyn in Florida. Chris says, see and hear you fine. Awesome. Ruth, hi there. Let's see. Okay, Shannon can hear you. Good. We got California, Michelle in California, Pearl, Marcella in New York. Awesome. Ruth, you're in New York too. Jacqueline, hello. Got somebody from Vancouver. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Angela from Southern California. Hey, Angela. Okay, you all are coming in, and obviously you can hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and change the screen here, and I'm going to get started with this, okay? So let me make sure I'm pulling up the right screen. All right, I'm assuming you all can see that now. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna rock and roll. And we do have Amanda on my team and Lorena, who are both on as well, and they're admins in the background. So if you have any trouble with anything, go ahead and type that in to the chat, and they will help you figure it out. Sometimes with Google Hangouts, you need to kind of refresh your screen in the beginning if you're not getting good access, okay? So go ahead and just ask in the chat, and worst case, if you can't even do that, you could always email amanda@counselingwise.com, and she'll be able to help you get everything squared away there so that you can hear and see the whole webinar. All right, so for those of you who do not know me, I'm Becky DeGrossa. I'm the founder of Counseling Wise. And today we're going to talk about how to create a therapy website that actually gets you clients instead of wasting time and money on websites that don't. So how many of you would like to learn how to do that, huh? There's so many folks that are just stuck with websites that aren't working. So if this is something that you want, go ahead and type in yes, right on, bring it, whatever you want to say in the chat there. All right. Now, the next thing, if I can figure out how to operate this here, is I want to talk to you about what my goal is for this webinar, okay? So in the next 45 minutes approximately, I'm going to be doing a teaching segment, and you guys are funny. Yeah. Show me how to do that. That's great. In the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to do a teaching segment, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A at the end. You're welcome to ask any question at all about marketing your practice. Let's talk about website stuff first, and then if we run out of questions and you have more questions about other things, then feel free to ask. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that it's going to be, my goal is to really show you the exact strategy for creating this that'll actually get you clients. And over the years, there have been plenty of people who have listened to my webinars and they have been able to do their own website, okay? So I just want to let you know that. It's not something that you have to come to us necessarily for, okay? So the other thing is, if in order for me to actually really get this across to you so that you really learn what the differences are between effective and ineffective sites, I really need you to turn off all distractions. All right, I'm going to need your attention. So if you're missing a key piece or a crucial step in the strategy, it's not going to work for you. So make a commitment to stay focused. Close out Facebook, stop checking your email, turn off your cell phone, really give me your complete attention, okay? I don't want you to miss a key part here. All right, so the other thing I want to ask is that you actually stay till the end. The reason for that is I'm going to show you how you can get a real working website, okay? And you need to see the whole thing in order to understand the whole picture. And so I want you to stay at the end. The other thing is you're going to be able to ask any questions you want at the end. And we'll even go over the hour if people want to stay and ask more questions. So, you know, deal? Is that a deal? Can you pay attention and can you really stay to the end? That's what I'm going to ask from you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, you might wonder why I'm qualified to teach on this subject. Well, let me tell you, probably a lot like you, when I went into private practice, I didn't know how to create a website that would really work. So what I did was I looked around at other therapist websites. I saw some things that I thought were pretty cool. They were pretty neat. And I thought, okay, that's great. I'm going to kind of integrate something like that into mine. And I went off working on my website. I spent way too much time on how my site looked. You know, if you've been there, you know, like focusing on the exact color of the leaf that was going to, you know, illustrate growth and all those wonderful things and moving things around. And I was really proud of it when I got it up, but guess what? It didn't do a thing for me, okay? It just didn't work. So you may relate to the story, okay? So finally, I then ran into a guy who really taught me a lot about messaging, website copy, and that helped a lot when someone got to my site. So, you know, people would get to my site here and there, a few people here and there, and they would come into my office and they would say, oh, I loved what you said on your whatever page, right? And they would like quote something on my page. And I was like, wow, okay, so the copy's working. The problem was I wasn't getting that many people to come to my site. So then I finally learned the ins and outs of SEO. And not just the SEO that most people add to their website as an afterthought, but really how you structure a site so that SEO works, okay? If you don't have a well-structured site, we're going to talk about that quite a bit. It doesn't even matter. SEO, it won't work. The foundation for SEO is a well-structured site, all right? And so then after that, things took off for me. I actually had so much fun learning this stuff and making it work that I decided to really make it my mission to teach other therapists about it too. And honestly, I was like, I'm a person who wants to build things, and I just couldn't sit in the seat anymore. Hats off to you guys for doing it. I did it for 4 years, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I like contributing to the field this way. All right, so the other thing is, you know, I founded Counseling Wise. I was a therapist until 2010. I had 20 years at IBM. This is making me look really old, I realize. I am really old. 20 years at IBM prior to that. And then, as I said, I became a marketing coach for therapists and coaches, and I've helped hundreds of folks fill their practices. Now, the one thing that I want to stress that is different about me than most coaches in the therapy space is that I really focus mostly on systems to get practice changing things done, okay? Either to get them done for you or to help you get them done. I don't just tell you what you should do. I create systems that help you get it done, all right? Now, mindset is really important. There's a lot of folks who just talk with you and coach you on mindset. Counseling Wise is really not only about mindset, but about bringing step-by-step solutions to getting things done, okay? So there is a huge mindset change I'm hoping that you're gonna get after this webinar today. And we'll talk about that. But mainly just know that we're really all about systems and actually making the rubber meet the road. That's what we specialize in. All right. So before I dive into this stuff, I want you to think about one thing. Maybe like me, you've done your first website the wrong way. Okay. Maybe you didn't know about all this stuff and you did it, you did the best you could do, but it's not really working. Imagine what your life would be like once you know how to create a website that really works to grow your practice. Okay, just take a second to feel into that. Can you see yourself with a full schedule? Whatever that is for you, even if you're part-time, whatever a full schedule is for you. Can you see yourself with that? Can you imagine feeling fulfilled doing the work that you love and working with the exact clients you love working with? All right, that is what this is all about. Can you imagine not having to augment your income with agency work or other part-time work? And finally, can you imagine what it would feel like to be more financially secure as a therapist? To maybe even put some money away from retirement, for retirement, what a concept. And to take vacations you want to take, help family members, etc., whatever you want to do if you had enough money. All right, so just feel into that. That is really what a website, a good website, can do for you. And that's what I want you to be in touch with. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this and talk about the way to create a website that actually works without wasting any more time or money on the things that don't work. Okay, all right, secret number one in this whole process is it's not just about having a website. It's about how your site is built that really matters, okay? Now, if you were able to watch video one in the pre-webinar training videos that I provided, then you saw me go through Psychology Today in 3 different cities and just randomly choose like the first website that appeared in the Psychology Today search. And in all 3 cases, I could tell within about 1 minute whether or not that website was actually working to bring that therapist clients. Okay, and if you didn't see that video, go back and watch it. You have an email that gives you a link to it. In all 3 examples, I could tell that those websites were not bringing clients to that therapist. Okay, it's a huge, huge problem in our field. All right, so I then showed you in that video sites in those same cities that had already filled the practices of the folks who put those sites up. Okay, and I showed you what the differences were between those sites that were working and the ones that weren't. All right, so the point is that there is a definitive way to make this work for you, and you can do it. This is not guesswork. Okay, this is not throw something up and hope and pray that it works. There's actually principles behind why this works, and this is something that you can actually do. All right, so what I want you to get is that this is the most important thing to learn from this entire presentation. If you don't get anything else, get this, that there is a way to do this in a certain way that makes it work. And if you really understand this, you won't keep doing what you're doing, the hoping and praying plan, okay? All right. So how is what really matters? That's the bottom line. Now, secret number 2 is your website organization is much more important than how your site looks. Now, I'm not telling you to put up an ugly website. I would never suggest that, okay? And there are a lot of websites out there that are outdated and really homegrown looking and all that good stuff. But what really matters most is the organization, all right? Now, the organization helps when somebody comes to your site via the homepage. Let's say they land on your homepage. We want them to know exactly where to go. All right, now remember that ADD is worse online than it is in real life. So you need to make it very, very easy for people to get what they're looking for when they come to your site. The other point, the other reason that you really want good organization is that the organization in and of itself, in terms of having separate specialty pages, is the key to both visibility and impact. And if you do not have separate pages for your specialties on your website, not only can you not rank, but you can't even effectively get a benefit from even paid traffic if ranking isn't your goal. All right, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. I showed you some examples in the pre-webinar video, but I'm going to show you some here too. Now, here's one of the sites that I found randomly on Psychology Today, and this is in Boulder. And this first example is how not to do it. Now, I have to say I don't know this woman, Jillian. It's a little scary to use examples in my hometown. You know, for all I know, with my luck, this therapist is like my therapist supervisor or something. I have no idea. Or someone on here's best friend, okay? But the problem is that if you can look at this right here, you see that there's no drop down under her services tab. Okay, so there's nothing to really tell me exactly what she does. Psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. Okay, that's all right, but what problems does she help with? All right. Now, if I go to the next page, this is the services page. If I click on that, I can see individual psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. So she has two specialties on the next page, and neither of them will rank because she has them both there. Individual psychotherapy isn't really something that you want to center a page around anyway. Nobody types that in from a layperson perspective. Nobody types in individual psychotherapy. They type in like counselor, counseling, psychotherapy, therapy, you know, anxiety treatment, whatever. They don't type in individual. That's a therapeutic term. That's an insider's term. But the point is, she doesn't, you know, she's not going to rank for either one of these terms anyway, even if they were the right terms to rank for. Now, the other thing is, if I go over here and I click on this, you know, click here for information about the issues that I work with, then I'm going to go to this page, and we can see all sorts of things on here. This big old list of things, right? So this page in and of itself is not going to rank for anything because Google will be very confused, right? Am I talking about anxiety or panic or work or trauma or sexuality or family what? You know, Google has no idea what to rank this page for because it has a million things on it. And so there's nothing in depth, and there's nothing to help me as a potential client really trust, A, that she's a specialist in all of these things, and also that she would really even get my experience of a particular issue that I have. Okay, it's just this big list of things, and she doesn't go into depth at all. So that is just something that's not going to work. Now, let's go ahead and look at how to do it the right way, okay? So here's a site that is a sole proprietor with 3 specialties, and you can see as soon as I come to this site, I immediately see eating disorder treatment, PTSD treatment, and child counseling right there in the navigation. So I know exactly what this therapist focuses on and what they specialize in. All right. Now, if I go to another practice that is a little larger, this practice has 5 specialties, and and they are in a drop down under services. Okay. So I could still, you know, mouse over services, and I could see these, and I know exactly what that woman does. This next site is a group practice site, and typically group practices have, you know, they have a lot of therapists and they have a lot of specialties, and so you have to be even a little more creative in terms of how to lay them out. So again, we have a lot of individual pages, but we give people kind of channels to go down. They could click down here on kids, teens, adults, couples, or they can be up here, children, teens, adults, couples. Under each one of these, there are drop downs for the specialties within that population. Okay, so this is another great way to set up a group site. And this is, you know, this is the right way to do it. I can just look at these sites and I can very quickly know, hey, these are going to work, okay, provided that these pages are written well. Okay, so we're going to get into that in a second. All right, so secret number 3 is the pages, right? That's, you know, how do you create the pages on your site so that they actually get potential clients to call you? And so we'll get into that here in a second. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is, you know, this stuff is it's stuff I've been talking about for a long time. You do have to do some work. There's work behind this. So don't think that this is all, you know, just really easy peasy. There is work behind it, but there's a very clear path to follow to make it work. And hopefully, if you watch those other videos, you can see the people who are successful. You can see how their sites are created, and I'll show you more of that on the webinar today. Okay, so what I want to talk about now is a page that is written well. Okay, so this is the child counseling page from the Ornstein Solutions group site. And what I want to show you is just how long it is and how it flows. So if you look up here, you're going to see that, you know, there's a headline that actually talks to the parent, right? And then there's these kind of this problem area. Hey, do you have a strong sense that your child's experiencing emotional or behavioral difficulties? Have you noticed that they worry a lot? They get upset easily. They're frequently sad or irritable. They have difficulty calming down once upset, et cetera, right? So we're asking these parents, hey, is this what you're going through? Is this what you're experiencing with your child, worried about in regards to your child? And then there's a little kind of a normalization thing here. Watching your child struggle, you know, can be very painful and frustrating, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's one of these things like, hey, you're not the only one. It's very common in these situations to feel emotionally drained and even dread coming home. All right. So this is normalization, explanation. You're not the only one, parent. There's pretty much nothing you can come into my office and tell me about that is going to freak me out as a therapist. I've seen it all. Okay. And then it goes on and it talks about, you know, hey, you can get help. This keeps popping. You can get help. Counseling can really help you, and it talks about various aspects of that help and how child therapy actually works. And then it goes on to say, hey, you know, this might all sound really good, but you might have some questions or concerns. And there are always questions and concerns, right? There's always objections or fears that people have when they're getting close to actually making a decision to take action. And so here we call those things out. We don't hide them. This is the elephant in the room. Bring it out, name it, talk about it. Child counseling can take a lot of time and it isn't cheap. I'm not sure it's worthwhile. Let's talk about that. I'm afraid that if we go to child counseling, we'll learn something that's really wrong, right? So let's go ahead and talk about that. Is my child going through a phase or is something deeper going on? Yeah, call it out, talk about it, okay? These are the things that we suggest that you do in your messages to actually really impact the parent. All right. And then finally, at the end, there's a call to action. You can see that she has the scheduled consult today. Also, at the bottom of her page, she has a bunch of social proof icons about where Ornstein Solutions has been featured. This instills a lot of trust in the parent that the counseling practice is solid and reputable. All right. Now, in fact, if I do a search on child counseling, Cary, this is Cary, North Carolina, Ornstein Solutions shows up right here, the second listing, okay? And that is the local Google Maps listing, or it's called Google Plus these days. Also, if I go further down the page, right up here, this is the end of the Google Maps. And then if I go down here a little bit, 5 listings down, she shows up again. All right, so she shows up twice on page 1. That is what a well-structured site, good SEO, and well-written pages gets you to page 1 and often multiple listings on page 1. All right, so I just want to show you how that works so that you really understand why it is that we write so much. And you may have questions about that later, and go ahead and, you know, if you have questions, you can go ahead and type them in now so you don't forget them, and I'll take questions in the order that they were typed in once we get to that part. Now, how do we go about writing pages like this, right? That's a lot of work, and how do we actually make it flow? How do we make this work? Well, we have a 7-step process, and I covered this in video 3 of the pre-webinar video. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it here, but as I mentioned, we talk about the problem in the beginning, right? We're really trying to capture the attention of that parent or whoever that potential client is to have them say, yes, 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 that's me. Okay, that's what I'm going through. I can't believe you named it. I'm in the right place. That's what we want. The next thing is we're going to go to the solution. And when I say solution, I don't mean that you are going to say, here's what I'm going to do. First step A, B, C, and then I'm going to solve your problem and your child is going to be cured. It's not that. It's really, hey, therapy can help with this situation. You're giving them hope. That's what the solution section is. And then the next section is this explanation section. And this is where we're talking about, hey, you know, this is really common. A lot of parents worry about their child at some point in their growing up process. Or, you know, maybe you're talking about anxiety. You know, anxiety is really a common issue that people go through at some point during their lives. So you're basically giving them kind of perspective on this. Okay, you're explaining that this is not a freak of nature. This is not the end of the world. I see this all the time, and I can handle working with you. Then we actually get into addressing the objections, right? They're always worried. If it's couples therapy, they're worried about, what if my partner won't come? How much is it going to cost? What if I find out the worst thing of all in couples therapy, that he really doesn't love me, or that there's been an affair, or whatever, okay? We talked about the parents' fears with the child therapy. There's always something that people, there's typically a top 3 for every type of issue that people are concerned about. Depression and anxiety, it's often, am I going to have to take meds for the rest of my life? So what you want to do is you want to actually really call these things out and talk to them, because that gives the person confidence that, you can handle it and that you're going to help them through it. The next thing is proof. And when I say proof, I mean social proof. Okay, I don't mean saying, hey, I cure everybody who comes to me. You would never claim that. But what I'm talking about is social proof. And in the Ornstein Solutions example, you could see that they had those, hey, we've appeared in all these publications. That's social proof. You could have testimonials from peers, hey, like maybe an MD saying, I refer clients to this therapist all the time, and I'm highly confident in their ability to work with people, or, other therapists who refer people to you. Okay, so that's what we mean about proof. And then uniqueness. So the worst thing that you could do is get this person believing that therapy could be an answer for them. Like, get them really thinking, okay, you've convinced me therapy could actually work and make my life better. But then if you don't stress your own uniqueness enough, and they just go down the street and shop for a therapist who's cheap, then you've lost them. Okay, so you want to stress your uniqueness. And then finally, you're going to have a call to action where you're going to ask them to do something. Now, in the Ornstein Solutions example, we have a couple of calls to action. At the bottom, there was something that was set up a free consult. Here, have their phone number up here. And then also they have take our free interactive quiz. Does my child need counseling? Okay. And the reason that that is good is because this is a low risk way for them to interact with you. All right. So if you have a quiz or a free report, there's a couple of benefits. One, if they interact with that, you're building a list. And what kind of list? In this case, it's a list of parents who are worried about their kids and wondering whether their kids need counseling. That's a pretty targeted list, right? That would be a great list of people to have. And then later you can send blog posts, various childhood issues, continue to build relationship and credibility over time. If they don't come in right away, they're going to come in someday, okay? But the other thing is that it's not scary, right? If I were to take this quiz, or if I were to download a free report, I don't have to call you right now. I can just do this. And I don't have to make contact and kind of out myself. I could actually just do this. Either download your report and read it, or take this quiz. And either of those things should impact me more positively, build more trust in you as a therapist. And then when I'm ready, I can call you, okay? So that's why we recommend that process. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk to is, okay, so that is a lot of stuff, right? I mean, there's keyword research to figure out if you're doing the right pages. There's the actual architecture of the site. There's writing of all the content, formatting it, optimizing it, all that good stuff. With the pages themselves, there's actually 3 steps, and I talk about that in video 3 of the pre-webinar videos. There's a dig deep exercise that we've been using for years, which is excellent for a therapist to kind of go back to the beginning and really think about that issue, like, for instance, the parent. Okay, what is that parent worried about? What is their biggest fear? When they're laying in bed at night, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, what are they thinking? And what's their biggest wish, right? What's their secret desire, if you will? That their kid will just be normal or fine or have friends like other kids or whatever. So when you do this dig deep exercise, you really get in touch with what's going on with your potential client, which then enables you to write content that is awesome, okay, that really has an impact. The next step is you go ahead and you follow this seven-step process to actually write your specialty pages. And then, of course, at the end, you want to add images. You don't want it to all be text. You want to format the page correctly, and you want to do SEO for the page. Now, this may look like add-on SEO at the end. It's not, because we've already done keyword research. We've already structured our site correctly, and now we're doing the finishing touches on SEO, okay? So I've now shown you what you need to do and that it works, okay? And then, of course, the question I'm going to ask you is, do you feel ready to go tackle all these pieces by yourself? All right, that's the big question. And do you? You guys go ahead and chime in. Do you feel ready to do this? Now, I do want to tell you, as I said before, that there are folks who do. They listen to the webinars, they understand things. Maybe they're a little tech savvy, they're good writers, and they go off and they do this, and they write to me later and they say, this is awesome. Thanks for all your information. Some people don't feel comfortable doing that, okay? So it is a hard way. It's certainly not impossible, but it is the hard way to do it all by yourself. So there's you, or if I could show you how you could get this done with the help of a team, all right, that is experienced with this whole process, has done it hundreds of times, has already launched hundreds of successful therapy websites, can guide you through the process, letting you do as much or little as you want to do yourself to control the cost. We'll do the keyword research for you. That's a piece that a lot of people get hung up on. That's scary for some reason. We'll guide you in writing your own content, or we'll write your pages for you and send them to you for editing and feedback. All right, we have writers on staff who do this. They interview you, and then they write pages for you, and they send them to you, and you edit back and forth. And then we'll do the SEO for you, okay? So that's another big piece, right? Do the SEO for you. That scares a lot of people. So the question is, if I could show you how to get all this done with the help of a team that does all these things, including choosing photos for you, if you want, would that be of interest, okay? Would you be interested in that? And go ahead and let me know before I go on to the next phase here, because I want to make sure that this is something that you want to hear about before I go into the next phase. Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about the easy way. The easy way is our Smart Therapy Websites program, and this is something that I developed in 2014 after basically doing the old follow the client to create a website, but the client doesn't know how to do it program, okay, which a lot of website developers do still. And I realized this is crazy for us to kind of do what the therapist says to do, because the therapist doesn't know. So I put together this full program with a membership area and everything. We'll go through that. And we guide you through the process so that the end product is much, much better. All right, so let's talk about how it works. You join the program, first of all. You have a project manager assigned to you, and they contact you. They have a kickoff meeting with you. And if you're not in Boulder, then it's via the phone. It could be a video call too, or via Skype if you're international. We have quite a few folks in the UK and Australia, Canada, Ireland, all over the place. Anyway, we can hold your kickoff meeting online. And then we help you choose your site design. We implement your site layout. We coach you on your content, or we do it for you. As I mentioned, we can actually do that content for you if you would rather do that. Then we implement all that you want on your site. And that includes, if you want audio, video added, if you want appointment scheduling, if you want a payment system to take payments online, social media integration, etc. This list could go on and on. Membership sites, special event calendars if you do a lot of workshops, that type of thing. The full kit and caboodle, okay? We do all of that. We do the SEO for you. Finally, we prepare for launch, and we go live, all right? So all of that stuff is included in what we do. In the members area, which is something that you get access to immediately after joining, there are 18 videos that cover the entire process. And, it starts out with me saying, hey, welcome to the program. Here's what you need to do next. Watch video number 2 and video number 3, fill out this form, then we get started. Okay, hey, next phase of the process, we're on to content now. Here's what you need to do for content. Make a decision. Do you want to write it yourself? If so, here's how to do it. No, you want to have us do it? Okay, here's the process for that. So it walks you through the whole program there. We prepare you for each step. You have access to this members area for life. There's also new information added anytime there are new developments, okay? So one thing is SEO just changed quite a bit, okay? It used to be that you would focus pages on one keyword and be really, really specific on that. Google has now become better at detecting relevant keywords. And so now we do a main focus keyword and then several secondaries. And so we update the members area when that happens. We are very forward looking. We're always innovating and testing. We have 4 clients in a test right now. We're creating case studies for something totally new, which is really, really exciting. I can't wait to share that with you guys. You need a website first though, so don't jump ahead, but we're always cutting edge. Okay, we're always looking forward. Here is what the members area looks like when you come into it. There's all these different sections. If you were to click on the welcome and introduction, then there's a video there that shows you that. Has our old logo. Sorry about that. Haven't updated that yet. But that's what it looks like. So here we are. It's you or you and the members area with a project manager, with a developer, and me. Okay, I'm definitely involved in the projects. I check in with you every month to see how it's going. And if there's anything that you can't resolve with your project manager, like if the project manager doesn't know something really, really technical, then they come and ask me. So I'm always involved in it. And also if there's something that, you don't feel like you're communicating well with them for some reason or whatever, you just come to me and I'll help you, or we could reassign if there's just not a good fit between you and the project manager. Okay. So here is what I'm offering today. Access to the Smart Therapy website's members area for life. That's really a $2,000 value. This is irreplaceable, okay? It stays current. You can access it all the time. Even, 2 years after your website launched, you can go in there and see what's new. It's just awesome. Optional strategy engagement. If you aren't clear on your specialties, some people aren't. Some people it's real cut and dried, right? It's like, oh yeah, I work with anxious and depressed folks and couples. Well, that's a piece of cake. We know how to do that. But what if you work with, I talked to somebody yesterday who wants to work with moms who are looking to get pregnant and then that are pregnant, and then maybe those who have postpartum depression, and then maybe those having their second kid and feeling overwhelmed, or, all sorts of things, somebody who wants to work with business women who are wanting to develop their spirituality more, or whatever, it could be anything. But if you aren't clear and you need somebody to help you figure that out, how to be strategic and how to actually reach people, then that is an engagement that you might like, the strategy session. Your own project manager guides you through the whole process, $1,000 value there. Wouldn't that have been nice? Think back to the site you put up by yourself if you did one. Wouldn't that have been sweet? Kickoff meeting with your project manager to create a game plan, $200 value, right? Game plan is really crucial to know who's doing what, when, how. That's really important. Guidance on the choice of a platform. Okay, so just to let you know, we work with both Squarespace and WordPress, and we will guide you on the choice of that. Squarespace is going to be really good for most people, but some people have advanced functionality type things that they want, and WordPress is a great option for that. We'll also help you on the choice of a theme. There's certain themes in both platforms that make sites that convert really well and other ones that don't. Okay, $300 value on that. Keyword research. A lot of people say that should be like a $4,000 value, but $400 value. Site structure, organizational plan, $500 value. Skilled developers to handle the technical details. $1,000 value. Again, that's probably much higher. If you've ever had to spend hours and hours and hours trying to fix something yourself, you know what I mean. Support for writing your specialty pages and the other pages on your site. Okay, so it's not just your specialty pages, but how do you write a good homepage? How do you write a really good about page that connects with people? Okay, it's not what you think. It's not a resume. All right, how do you structure a contact page so that Google says, oh, I know where you are. I'm going to rank you higher because I see that you're at this location. There's all sorts of things involved in this stuff. Or us writing them for you after interviewing you for each page. Okay, so that's up to a $2,000 value at least. We have really good writers, and that writing helps the pages rank and convert. Photo selection and placement, up to a $200 value. Optimization of your pages, $700 value. Total value on this thing is up to $9,800. Okay, so if you feel that you want to argue any individual value point, feel free, but it's worth a ton. And if you've already done your own site, you know that you probably didn't have 90% of this stuff. All right, so I'm also going to put in a bonus here. So the Dig Deep exercise and the specialty page blueprint, we're going to give that to you in the members area. And that is, again, this exercise you can go through to really get in touch with your potential client. That's useful as whether you're writing your content yourself or not. Even if you're going to be interviewed by us, you need to be able to really get in touch, right? So that you can share with the writer what your potential client is going through. So that is a $1,200 value. Okay, so if I go through all this stuff again and I add that in, we're up to $11,000. It's crazy, right? It's craziness. Bonus number 2, I'm going to throw that into a keyword list for all common specialties. Now, as I mentioned, SEO just changed. So now we include a primary and secondary keywords for great SEO for all pages. And so that keyword list is also going to be provided as a bonus for people interested in the program now. And then here's what I'm offering, all of this stuff. And then if you add that in, we're up to $12,000. Okay. Again, that's crazy price. If all this did, though, was teach you what pages based on keyword research to put on your site to attract your perfect clients, would it be worth it? I think it would, okay? It's going to be a make or break thing, right? That's just the way it is. And if all it did was show you how to write your website content the right way so that people actually call you after coming to your site, would it be worth it? All right, this is the big problem that most people have. Most people will look at their Google Analytics and they'll say, hey, I'm getting 100 people a month to my website, but nobody's calling me. Well, yeah, I see why. Because your content isn't very strong, okay? So, and the final thing, if all it did was to help you get 2 to 3 clients a month, would it be worth that? I think it would. A lot of people think it would be worth it. Finally, and here's the kicker, this is really fun. I've never included this before. I'm putting in a third bonus, which is a free 600-word blog post for one of your specialties, obviously. We have a whole blogging team at Counseling Wise, and we have a separate website for that, Therapy Blog Library. We do blogging for, a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of therapists on a regular basis. So we're going to include a blog post as well for this offer. Okay, so again, if we add in all this stuff that you get, we're up to $12,200. Now, what is that worth to you? What is it worth to you to have a professional help creating a website, really getting you clients? Maybe the biggest part in my mind is an education finally and how to be successful online. Okay, what if you decide later that, okay, I'm doing these specialties now and now I want to go be a coach because I want to, travel the world and I want to do coaching. How are you going to make that work, right? Once you learn this stuff, you're going to be able to have the flexibility to go into whatever direction you want to go. And that's what I think is just huge, huge, huge. You will not believe how much money I spent in training in order to learn all this stuff, okay? So, what's it worth? 10K, 20K? How much did you spend on your degree? That's a good thing to compare it to. You have this degree, but if you can't get clients, it is kind of a frustrating situation, right? So it's almost like, what's it going to cost you to get educated to really put that training to use? All right. So again, how much would you pay? Here's some folks that have worked with us. Melissa Satie, she has a group practice in Ann Arbor. And this is what she said out on Facebook. She said, use Counseling Wise. Can't say good enough things about them. I get so much traffic from my site now that I had to hire 2 additional therapists from the 3 I already had, and all 5 are completely booked, which I can directly tie from my work with them. That was unsolicited. Let me tell you, that was really sweet to find that out on Facebook. We started getting a bunch of calls and I was like, who is this person? Like, why are these people calling us? So that was fun to find. Another person, this is Sid Greenberg. My project manager is doing an excellent job, as has been true from the beginning. He's super helpful and prompt if I have questions or needs. The Smart Therapy Websites program membership area is great and is full of very useful information. I'm grateful for your company's guidance, your talented team, and all the information you provide. Another one, Joseph Sachs. He's in New York City and he works with kids. He says, I was originally inspired to work with Counseling Wise because of the expertise I saw in your videos. Now that I am working on building a new website with you, I want to thank you for all the wonderful work your company is doing. My project manager is doing a fantastic job. He answers my emails promptly, is professional, intelligent, and helpful. My writer is a stupendous writer and editor and has been working especially hard for me. Another guy, we branch out into some different areas. We have coaches and consultants and that kind of thing. This guy is a pretty high-end educational consultant. The writing is great. My writer is excellent to work with. This was really a new experience for me to have someone do writing like this for my work. I really enjoyed it. And then another one, finally, Wendy Crane. I'm up to 22 clients next week. Yay, it's all working. Okay, so these are just examples of hopefully why you see that this would still be a good deal at $12,000, all right? Now, obviously, I am not going to charge you $12,000. You're therapists. You're not Fortune 500 companies, okay? So the way this works is we actually charge hourly at discounted rates when you join the Smart Therapy website program. I can't tell you exactly what your website will cost. It's kind of a question like, hey, how long is it going to take and what's it going to cost for me to be cured of my depression? Well, there's a lot of factors there, right? And just like you cannot give exact quotes for people, I can't either. What I can tell you, however, is based on real data that 90% of our sole proprietor websites, as opposed to group sites, which cost more, obviously, 90% of individual therapist sites cost between $1,800 and $3,800 with us. That's what the hourly fees total up to, okay? And the final cost will depend on what platform you go on, whether it's Squarespace or WordPress. Squarespace is less expensive. The writing, are you doing the writing or are we doing the writing? How many pages are there going to be on your site? And then finally, the support, the amount of time you need from us. Some people are really, they really study the stuff in the members area. They're very efficient. They're very decisive. They go forward really efficiently. Others don't really pay attention to that stuff, and they send us 5 emails a day and ask us all the things that are in there. You know, just kind of like your clients, right? Some people are, you know, people are different, right? There's different styles. And so we do charge by the hour, so you can control the amount of time we spend to some extent by just looking at everything that's already provided. I do have to say one thing. For some reason, it's a crazy month already. People are probably being smart and deciding to do their website development during the summer months when things are typically a little slower for therapists. So we've already had 10 orders this month, and I don't want to overload my project managers because then they don't do good work for you. So we keep the levels at a, you know, at a place where they can be really attentive to the therapist that they're working with. And so there will be a 2-week delay in beginning your website. I just need to tell you that right now, okay? So what is it that we're talking about here? So the Smart Therapy Websites program has a $650 retainer as a first payment, okay? So today, to get into the program with these bonuses that are thrown in for this promotion only, you can start that today for $650. Then what happens is we invoice you monthly for the time you have actually used. We're towards the end of June here. Obviously, if you bought today, you wouldn't even start for 2 weeks. So in July, you'd get an invoice from us that would say you have a $650 credit. Okay, so we invoice you monthly as you go. And if you're interested in joining, you can click the link below to order. I think Amanda's going to put that link up there so that you have it. And just notice that the bonuses expire 1 week from today. So we want to get, folks to make a decision. Those bonuses, including the blog post, are going to expire 1 week from today. So you have two choices. First option, do nothing, don't invest in your practice. 100% risk-free, but not really, because you're still stuck. There was some reason you came to this today. Maybe your website's not working for you. Second option is to make this small investment today, especially small compared to all the value you get in return, okay? And is it worth it? That's what you guys have to answer for yourselves today. Is it worth investing in this to make your website bring you clients? Click below to order if you're interested. Again, bonuses expire 1 week from today. I also want to say this. If you can't see the link well on the webinar, then you can also go to bit.ly/smart-site. Okay, that's another place where you can order. Bit.ly, it's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/smart-site. And I also want to say this, if you still have questions, like if you're serious about this, and if you're leaning towards doing it, but you really need to talk to me first, then feel free to go to counselingwise.com, schedule a time to talk to me. I'm more than willing to help you. There is something on our site that looks like this at the bottom right, our little Let's Talk thing. It scrolls up from the bottom on the site. So feel free to go there and talk to me. I opened up some spots later today and tomorrow and Friday, so that if you have questions and you need answers, feel free to go there, okay? Again, the bonuses expire a week from today. I just wanted you to know that. So there you have it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the questions. I think we have quite a few. If you have a question that hasn't been answered yet or that you haven't asked yet, feel free to go ahead and add that in. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, make sure I don't miss anything. Feel free to type them in if you haven't yet. I'll get to it in a second. Okay, Jenny, is a contact form on each specialty page a good call to action? It's okay, Jenny. It's not bad. It makes it easy for them. What it is, though, is it is a scary action for a lot of people, right? So it's not a bad thing to have. You always want to have the option for them to contact you, and the easier you make it, the better. But I would also try to have a call to action that is a download a free report or take this quiz or sign up for my email course or something like that, because that's much less threatening, lower risk, and more people will do it, and it'll also help you grow your list, okay? Terry, specialty is for caregiver with burnout, how to motivate them to website. First of all, it would be to do some keyword research, Terry, and figure out what people type in for caregiver support, okay? And the other thing that you could do there, there's a website, and then so you have a website and you also need to get traffic to your website, right? That's the way it goes. That's always the way it is. So you can get traffic a couple of ways. You can get it through SEO by ranking. If you have terms that aren't searched very much, like this woman I talked to yesterday who wanted to help moms to be or something. People aren't out there typing in therapy for moms to be. That's not a well-searched term. But what she could do is she can target people on Facebook, okay, and send them to her website. And the same thing with you with caregiver burnout. You could do a Facebook campaign, and you could have your ads appear in front of people in a certain age group, like the sandwich generation that are caring for their parents, in a certain geography, and that could be a really cool way to reach them. So I'm hoping that helps you. Ask more if I missed something with your question. Jenny, you said you've been working on your website yourself. Great. Claudia, my question is about the order of the explanation and solution steps. Are those interchangeable? Yes. definitely, Claudia, the order doesn't really matter. You want to make sure that you have all 7 steps in there. The order does not matter. Okay. Terry, I am so ready. You have great points. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate that. Michelle, SEO, what does that mean? Search engine oh, someone answered you. Search engine optimization. Everybody else is answering. Good job, you guys. What about having products on your site, books, CDs? Yeah, if that is something that you want to have, you certainly can do that. Remember that therapy is going to, it depends on what you're trying to do, Michelle. Therapy is going to generate a lot more money over time than you selling a book or a CD, unless it's one of your own things that you've produced that is going to build credibility. Okay. So that's kind of a strategic question about that. And it depends on what it is that you're selling in terms of books and CDs. Angela, definitely I have no, okay. Yeah, Angela, good. Yeah. Could help with writing. Good, Jody. We can help you with that. Great information. I think I can try it myself first. You can, Pearl. Go for it. Try it yourself first and then see how it goes. Terry, thank you. And perhaps in the future, this could work for me. Currently cannot see the application to my challenge. I'm not sure, Terry. Were you the, Terry, I think you were the caregiver burnout. Yeah, so hopefully my answer there helped you. Debbie, can you use any WordPress theme, or are there ones that you really recommend? There are ones that we recommend, definitely. So we could help you with that. Hourly rate is $65 an hour, Kim, within the program. Our a la carte rate for just random, miscellaneous help is $75 an hour. Marcella, I've not started my private practice yet. It's been my dream all along, but it's been hard to leave the security of a full-time job that is not fulfilling anymore. As first step, I would think having a great website can be a great source of referrals. So much to work on to start. Yep, it is. It is, Marcella. You are right. Bonnie, I'm pretty happy with my website, but I want to improve it. Is this offer a good choice for improving the existing website? You know what you should do, Bonnie, is go ahead and call me. We can look at your website together and then determine if it is something that improving your site, would it just be an a la carte type thing that would cost less? Or is your site in a platform that is really workable for improving? Okay, and so we could look at that together and then figure that out. I don't know if I'm able. Okay, I think that is all the questions. Amanda, if that is not all the questions, I can't scroll up anymore, so I'm assuming that I have answered them all. If I haven't, could you Slack me any remaining questions that I missed? But that's all I see. So I hope I answered everything. Let's see. Has anybody else typed in anything else, Amanda or Lorena? I'm not hearing from you guys, so I think it's okay. Okay, so, as I said, the bonus offer is up for a week. If you want those free bonuses and you want to do this anyway, then now's a good time to do it because you get the bonuses. If you're not ready, don't do it, right? We don't want your money. We don't want you to go out on a limb if you're not ready and if you don't see the value in it. So that is that. Here we go. Somebody... I'm anxiety and stress management, Jane. I'm anxiety and stress management therapist. Someone told me this was too broad. What do you think? No, you need to have an anxiety treatment or counseling or therapy page, and you need to have I would have a stress management page as well, Jane. And then when people are typing those things in, depending on where you live. Now, if you're in New York City or San Francisco, you're probably not going to rank. You're going to probably have to do paid advertising. Okay. We have clients in those places and it takes years to rank, even with a really big site with lots of pages. So, just if you're in a normal place, medium-sized city, then you're going to be able to rank for those things most likely if you do it right. Somebody says, thank you for the information. You are very welcome. All right. Y'all, I'm going to call it a wrap, I think. I hope that you found this valuable. And any questions, or if you want to talk to me, go ahead and set up an appointment and we can chat. I look forward to talking with you. And thanks for all your time today, y'all. Thanks for all the work you do. You rock. And I'll talk to you next month, maybe. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.